Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm not gonna make this a live video. I don't even think anybody will hop on for this. I just didn't want to record. Um, yeah, I didn't want to have to like go through the process of recording and editing a video. So I'm just doing this really quickly. If someone hops on, cool. If not, whatever. But I wanted to highlight the trade that I took yesterday on Euro futures, and this netted me a 5.7K day. I think I took a small loss before that, so I ended up it was a little less than that, I think, on the profit total for the day. But um, again, I want to kind of walk through it and basically show you guys what happens here. So again, coming into the day, we were holding a bearish bias, right? Coming into the week, really, we were bearish. Again, we've been on a downtrend for a while. Seeing this move play out here. Again, I think on last Friday, we ended up running up this hold eye back into this weekly fair value gap. Again, go to the weekly time frame. You see this huge weekly imbalance here that the market traded back into. And then hopping down to the daily time frame, again, you guys can see basically what happened is we ran this old high back into that gap, and then we started to fall over since then. And so ideally, my target for the week is this low right here. I don't know if we'll get there. Today's Thursday. I don't know if we'll get there this week, but I would like to see us start running towards this low. And so coming into yesterday, a couple things. So New York session, again, it's that New York session continuation move that I'm always talking about. Coming into the session, we saw that the market really, this is our, actually, let me go back and draw this out right here. This is our Asian session here. Right. Text box. Oh, duh. T. This is our Asian session right here. This is our London session right here. Right. And so as you guys can see, we were consolidating really kind of between the low of the day and here, and we're kind of ranging back and forth in this range. Right. And then London hit, and immediately we started breaking to the downside. So that's in line with the higher time frame bias, right? That was in line with what we wanted to see for the day. So again, if London is bearish, we should come to New York session expecting more bearishness. If our higher time frame bias is bearish and we haven't taken out, again, the low that we're trying to get to, which again, the low is this low that's all the way down here, right? So there's a little bit of running room that we could potentially run to. So what was I expecting, right? So we talk about the New York session continuation. The first thing we want to see is a run on liquidity, right? So we want to see coming into the day into New York, where is the money that's left over from London? And that way we can start to guess where the money's going to be at. And so hey, 1 second, my dog's over here dying. So what we want to do now is come into London's New York session again with the idea of like, where's the money at, right? And coming into New York, again, our money is going to sit over old highs, right? So like this high right here, and then that fair value gap right there, right? So can't see it because that London's in the west. Let me move that out of the way. Right here, sorry. So 15-minute time frame, there's two levels that I was really looking at that potentially the market could, run to in New York. Again, this old high here was buy side, and this old fair value gap, we know there's going to be buyers in that gap that have unmitigated orders, right? This is a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So the market's going to want to run to these levels. When we think about power of three, obviously we have power of three for the day, right? So we have consolidation, manipulation, distribution. If I could find it, where's my arrow? Here we go. So we have consolidation, manipulation, distribution for the day, right? But we also have it in session as well. So coming into New York, we want to see like a miniature version of that play out. So we want to see consolidation, manipulation, right, to an old high or gap, right? Because we know there's going to be buyers in there. And then we're going to want to see the market distribute where? Well, to these lows here, previous lows, because we know that, you know, once we got a bag full of buyers up top, right, we grab that buyers, we got to distribute those buyers to the sellers, right? And that's what distribution really means at like a kind of like basic level. And so coming into the day, there was two news releases that really hit. The first one was going to be New York session. I'm sorry, the 8:30 news, which I believe was PPI or CPI. I can't remember which one it was. Um, oh yeah, and then also this high right here. But yeah, so the 8:30 news release hit. So basically, what I wanted to do is stay out until the news release hits. When PPI and CPI happen, it's okay to trade that day, but you just don't want to be in the market when those trades happen because there's a lot of whipsawing that can happen in price, and so you don't want to get caught up in that. You want to let the move happen and then catch it. So 7:30, 8:30. You can see here, as soon as 7 o'clock hit, we ran that level of buy side. We didn't get a break of structure on the smaller time frames. And so if I go down to that 5 minute time frame, again, even if it wasn't CPI, there wasn't really no break. I mean, there really wasn't a break in market structure there. It's kind of a consolidation. So when 8:30 hits, you'll see the market kind of take off and go. Right, buy side liquidity there too. So three levels: this high right here, this gap here, and that level here. And so I was looking for the price to really run to one of those kind of after the news release hit. So at 8:30, this is that 8:30 news release again. We saw price really run straight for this high, right? And then what happened right after that? It started to break down. So let's hop to that 5 minute time frame. I'm gonna kind of walk you through what happened here and what I saw initially. Let's back this up a little bit. So a couple things. So at this point on the 3 minute time frame, right, there was a fair value gap right here. This is a BISI, so I'll make it green. Right, so there's a fair value gap right there. We saw price trade into it. If this was going to continue bullish, then we wanted this to respect this. Not only is this a fair value gap, right, but this is a fair value gap with an order block right there. So this is a very strong fair value gap, right? Again, I talk about this all the time. Your fair value gaps with the order blocks are going to be the strongest form of like support or resistance, quote unquote, right? So, so ideally this should hold. Like in theory, if we were going to continue being bullish, we should hit this gap and keep going higher, right? So what I waited for is to see is if this would invert, right? Meaning that we didn't respect it. So ideally, if we came back down and we traded through this gap and really traded through consequent encroachment of that order block too. Again, I don't talk about this a lot, but remember that consequent encroachment can be applied to order blocks as well. So if we trade, really through the 50% level of that and close, there's probably a high probability that we're going to keep running through that. Not always, but majority of the time. So what I waited for to see here was a couple of things. So we inverted that gap, but we still respected the order block. So we want to see the market really break through this order block. And right here is where we got the disrespect of not only that fair value gap and that order block. So this is now an inverted fair value gap. And I talk about this all the time, but in a downtrend, the market will not respect. In a downtrend, the market will disrespect bullish liquidity markers, right? So bullish fair value gaps will get disrespected. So not only is this now a break in market structure, right? It's also an inverted fair value gap after taking out this old high right here of liquidity, right? So there's a lot of stuff here that's letting us know this play is about to break down. So at this point, I think I entered into like, I don't know, a couple positions. We'll make it fun. So I'll just say 30, right? Stop loss goes above the high. Obviously, I didn't risk $7,000 in this trade, but we'll have fun with this. So ideally, again, stop loss goes above the high of the trade, and then after we get the confirmation that the price is really starting to break down, cool, we enter in and see what happens here. So I'm going to take this a little bit slower than I usually do, and I got 2 minutes before I got to hop off. So again, what happened here? Saw the market trade back into this range. What happened right here as we're managing the trade? A couple things here. We traded back into this fair value gap right there. This is also a breaker setup where price trades back into an old disregarded order block and starts to fall over, right? So at this point, we're just managing the trade and we're making sure that everything is kind of flowing in the way that we want to see on the way to the targets. And our lows, again, I think I have my target for the low of the day, which was here. Something like that. And just letting this run out. So what happened here? Again, price is giving us bearishness. It's hacking old lows. It's not disrespecting gaps, right? At this point, I think the price started to stutter a little bit, retraced a little bit. No, not here. Again, boom. Kind of acted like it was going to go out here and take this out. I think it made one last liquidity run up. At this point, I was kind of, I was looking like I should probably exit the trade, but then I went up a time frame and saw that we still were respecting levels, and then it just completely smashed, right? So again, that was for a $4,000 day. If you guys want to know more, again, hit me in the chat, but I just wanted to make this video here so you guys could see what was going on. So again, targeting that high after it took out the high of the session and traded to the low of the day. Very simple, easy trade. And, New York session continuation again is for the win. So hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one.